Whistleblower exposes questionable dealings at Equity Bank and political backroom deals. A high-stakes financial storm is brewing in Kenya's banking sector after a whistleblower lifted the lid on what insiders are calling one of the most explosive scandals in recent years involving Equity Bank, long praised for its rapid growth and dominance in East Africa's financial sector. Equity has enjoyed a reputation as the people's bank, a champion of financial inclusion and innovation. Yet behind the glossy advertising campaigns and award-winning public image, the lender now faces a deluge of allegations that could fundamentally shake public confidence and disrupt Kenya's financial system. A whistleblower speaks out. According to exclusive information obtained by investigative journalists, a former insider at the bank whose identity is being withheld for safety reasons claims that top executives have been quietly overseeing questionable dealings for years. These include unexplained account freezes, aggressive loan recoveries, and covert negotiations with politically exposed individuals. The whistleblower's testimony, backed by internal emails and policy memos, paints a disturbing portrait of systemic malpractice. If Kenyans knew half of what is happening behind closed doors, they would be alarmed, the source warned. The public image of empowerment is very different from the reality inside. While the claims have yet to be independently verified, the mounting accounts from customers, civil society groups, and former employees point to a pattern of behavior inconsistent with the bank's public branding. From darling of the poor to under fire. Founded in the 1980s as a small building society, Equity Bank grew into a regional powerhouse by targeting the unbanked and low-income customers shunned by traditional banks. Its pioneering use of mobile technology, agent banking, and microloans earned it international accolades. Yet critics argue that the very scale of Equity's operations has made it difficult to maintain ethical standards, and that success has bred complacency and arrogance at the top. Regulators are reportedly on high alert. The Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, and the Capital Markets Authority, CMA, have received multiple complaints in recent months. Consumer protection groups have begun lobbying Parliament to commission an urgent, independent audit. Unexplained freezes and customer losses. Among the most disturbing allegations is the practice of freezing customers' accounts without clear explanation or due process. Dozens of customers contacted journalists with similar stories. One morning they wake up to find their accounts locked, their cards rejected, and their businesses paralyzed. A Nairobi-based contractor recounted how his construction business nearly collapsed after Equity froze an account containing millions of shillings earmarked for paying workers and suppliers. They just told me there was a review. For 2 months, I could not access my money. I had to lay off half my staff, he said. Another customer said her family's medical fund was locked for weeks during a medical emergency. We were desperate. Every day we begged them to release even a portion, but they refused. My father died before we got access, she recounted tearfully. Such stories highlight the human cost of opaque practices. While banks are required to follow anti-money laundering regulations, customers insist Equity has gone far beyond normal compliance measures, creating suspicion that account freezes are sometimes used as leverage for internal agendas or as retaliation. Aggressive loan recoveries and asset seizures. The bank's loan recovery tactics are also at the center of the storm. Borrowers describe a climate of fear in which recovery units allegedly harass clients, issue threats, and conduct sudden asset seizures without due warning. Small-scale traders, farmers, and entrepreneurs, the very groups Equity has championed in its marketing, appear to be the hardest hit. Some borrowers claim that after defaulting on a small portion of their loans, they were subjected to punitive interest hikes and humiliating treatment. It feels like they're trying to destroy you, not help you recover, said a smallholder farmer from Nakuru County who lost his tractor after missing 2 loan payments. Political deals and double standards. The claims of favoritism toward politically exposed individuals add a dangerous layer to the scandal. According to the whistleblower, some top managers have been quietly cutting deals with influential clients, shielding them from strict repayment terms and, in some cases, quietly rescheduling or even writing off multi-million shilling debts. This is a 2-tier system, the whistleblower explained. Powerful clients get protection, while ordinary Kenyans are squeezed until they bleed. The executives know it, but they look the other way. Documents seen by the source allegedly show instances where loans running into billions were extended to politically connected firms under unusually lenient conditions, even as small borrowers faced aggressive recoveries over much smaller sums. If proven, such practices could expose Equity Bank to accusations of aiding corruption networks and undermining fair banking standards. The culture of secrecy and lack of oversight. Insiders describe a culture of secrecy at the highest levels of Equity Bank. Decision-making is allegedly concentrated in a small circle of executives, and internal audits are either superficial or manipulated to protect key individuals. This culture, critics argue, allows abuse to flourish unchecked. Whistleblower documents also suggest a pattern of internal reviews used as a catch-all explanation for blocking accounts or delaying payments. This vague terminology makes it nearly impossible for customers to challenge the bank's actions in court or with regulators, as no formal accusations are ever lodged. public outrage and social media backlash. The revelations have already sparked outrage online, with Kenyans demanding answers and sharing their own experiences under the hashtag #EquityExposed. We trusted this bank with our life savings. If this is true, it's betrayal at the highest level. One angry customer posted, another wrote, "For years we were told equity empowers us. Now it looks like they're exploiting us." Civil society groups have seized on the scandal as evidence of systemic problems in Kenya's financial sector. "This is not just about one bank," said the head of a consumer rights NGO. "This is about the integrity of the entire system. If a bank this big can play double standards, what hope do ordinary Kenyans have?" Pressure on regulators. The Central Bank of Kenya and the Capital Markets Authority are now in a tight corner. Both institutions are under pressure to launch independent investigations, with lawmakers hinting at parliamentary hearings. Opposition politicians have begun calling for top executives at the bank to step aside pending inquiry results. At the same time, INDUSTRY experts caution that an overly aggressive regulatory crackdown could destabilize Kenya's financial sector. Equity holds millions of customer accounts and billions of shillings in deposits. Any sudden loss of confidence could trigger a bank run with devastating economic consequences. Broader implications for Kenya's banking sector. The equity scandal touches a nerve in Kenya, where banks have long been accused of predatory behavior. Despite financial inclusion efforts, access to affordable credit remains a challenge, and interest rate caps introduced in 2016 were later lifted amid pressure from lenders. Many see equity's alleged double standards as a reflection of a wider culture of impunity and lack of consumer protection. If the allegations are substantiated, Kenya could see new legislation tightening oversight of banks, especially regarding politically exposed persons, PEPs, loan recovery practices, and customer communication standards. Already, some MPs are drafting motions to strengthen the Banking Act to prevent systemic abuse. Equity Bank's response so far. As of publication, Equity Bank has not issued a detailed public response to the whistleblower's claims. In previous statements on unrelated controversies, the bank has insisted it follows all regulatory guidelines and maintains strict anti-money laundering compliance. It is likely that the bank will emphasize its long history of serving low-income customers and its multiple awards for innovation and governance. Industry analysts, however, warn that silence or denial will not suffice. "Reputation is everything in banking," said a Nairobi-based economist. If Equity does not proactively address these allegations, it risks losing customer confidence overnight. In the age of social media, rumors can bring down even the biggest institutions. Calls for transparency and accountability. Consumer groups are urging the bank to open its books and invite an independent audit. "The only way to restore confidence is total transparency," said a statement from the Kenya Bank Customers Association. Equity must prove it treats all customers equally and explain why so many accounts were frozen without due process. Activists are also pushing for a new banking ombudsman's office with real power to investigate complaints and penalize misconduct. Currently, most customers rely on the courts, an expensive and slow process, to seek redress. The coming weeks will be crucial for Equity Bank in Kenya's financial sector. If the allegations are debunked, the bank will still face a major public relations challenge to rebuild trust. If they are proven true, the fallout could include criminal charges, top-level resignations, and sweeping reforms. For ordinary Kenyans, the scandal is a sobering reminder of the vulnerability of their savings and livelihoods to opaque corporate practices. "We thought we were safe with a big bank," said one small business owner. "Now we don't know who to trust." Conclusion. A moment of reckoning. For years, Equity Bank has marketed itself as the embodiment of financial empowerment, a bridge between the unbanked and the formal economy. The whistleblower's revelations, however, paint a far more troubling picture, one of unexplained account freezes, aggressive debt collection, and sweetheart deals for the powerful. Unless urgent action is taken by regulators, parliament, and the bank itself, trust in one of Kenya's largest lenders could collapse, taking with it not just a corporate reputation but the savings and dreams of millions. This case is not merely about one bank's alleged misconduct. It is a litmus test for Kenya's financial governance, the rule of law, and the promise of equal treatment under the banking system. Whether Equity Bank emerges vindicated or vilified, the whistleblower has forced an uncomfortable but necessary national conversation on accountability, fairness, and the future of finance in Kenya. The road ahead.